peaceful country, as a very diversified community. I was promised by the Canadian Embassy in Jordan that I will start working as a doctor within a few months.
So when you arrived here, you couldn't work as a doctor?
Basically, I was told it's a dead end. Who brought you here? That's not the right place to work, to be a doctor. It's a very racist country when it comes to high-income professions.
I have discovered that we have a critical doctor shortage, long waiting lists, not enough residencies, and there are between 5,000 to 8,000 international medical doctors in Canada. Is there a solution to this bottleneck?
There's a fatal flaw in the healthcare system in this country, and that is that provincial ministries of health aren't interested in spending more money, they're interested in spending less, obviously. So it's not in their interest to issue more licenses if they can possibly help it. Most of the self-regulating colleges, the ones that issue licenses, are regulated by the doctors. There's a set amount of money for healthcare. So if there are more doctors working, that's less money per doctor. The colleges and the ministries of health in every province aren't really interested in having more doctors or spending more money in healthcare.
I would say that the greatest misunderstanding on the part of many members of the public is that the government has tight purse strings and is not interested in releasing any money for the education of international graduates. And I think that all of those beliefs are true misconceptions.
Well, you hear sometimes in the media, oh, well, you just can't throw money at it. Well, that's true. You can't just throw money at something. That money has to be spent effectively, and there has to be oversight of that. But it is a money problem. International medical doctors, they are part of the solution, and they're a cost-effective part of the solution. I mean, these people have already got their medical degree. These people have already got their experience and training elsewhere. It's a lot less expensive than having someone go through 4 years of university. And they're ready, willing, and able to work, and they'll work anywhere in the country.
If IMDs are a solution, then why don't we make more residencies available to them?
It's easy to say, jeepers, we have 300 international graduates. Why aren't you doing 100 this year? You can't do 100. You can't do 50. They barely can do 16.
Why not? Why not 50?
Because you have to have clinicians to teach. The clinicians are having difficulty enough teaching the residents in postgraduate training. If you then add to that and add to that, they have to provide care. If you take a student with you, literally, in your office, you will be slowed down in your day by probably 30%.
Dr. Phillips makes the case that there are not enough clinicians to train more IMDs. However, the Canadian medical system spends thousands of hours training wealthy visa doctors who won't even end up staying in the country.
Tell me about visa doctors.
Visa doctors are a term that reference those internationally trained medical doctors that come here to train. They buy residencies at hospitals across the country, and those hospitals charge a much higher rate. Generally speaking, they come from wealthy nations. Examples are Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. And then they are required by the contract they sign to go back to their home country. And I know that in BC, we're well over 100 visa doctors per year. So they get our training, and then they go back home.
I went to St. Paul's Hospital to meet Dr. Rod Andrew. He oversees the IMDs in residence. I asked him to clarify the policy of training visa doctors.
These are physicians from countries in the world where they like to send their trained doctors, their MDs, abroad for specialist training. And this does go back many years. The objective was to bring visa trainees here as a service to underdeveloped countries in the world, for us to train them because the training is so good here.
This is clearly not the case anymore. The majority of visa doctors are hardly from underdeveloped nations.
The decision as to train visa trainees in the end is a political one. It's not a medical decision, and it's certainly nothing that I have any control over.
If it is a political issue, surely the Minister of Health could give me some answers.
We don't want to get in the business necessarily of training international medical graduates for the United States or Saudi Arabia or Germany or any other location. We definitely want to give priority to those who live in British Columbia, who want to practice in British Columbia, who want to carry on a practice in British Columbia for the long term.
In the middle of our healthcare crisis, training over 100 visa doctors versus 18 of our IMDs hardly seems like giving them priority.
The fact is that provincial governments across the country underfunded the healthcare system. As a result, medical faculties attracted, because of the high standard of training, doctors from other countries to come here and train. What that is a bonus now, because we have the qualified staff in place across the country to expand very quickly and replace those doctors that we train from Saudi Arabia a little bit with internationally trained medical doctors or Canadian medical graduates to address our current medical doctor shortage.
Italian Dr. Alfredo Torre is working as a clinical trainee at BC Children's Hospital. He is one step closer to securing a residency.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, Daisy. Good morning, Mom. How is she doing?
She's doing great.
Our young princess. Can you give us a smile? This job is wonderful. When I first started, I thought that it would have been too hard for me to deal with oncology patients. But then I realized, how important is their family. It's been a wonderful job, and I hope to keep working here for a long time.
When will you be able to work as a full-fledged doctor here?
I still will need a residency, and hopefully I'm going to start residency in the next couple months or 3 months. And in that case, I'll actually hoping to come and work back here after my license.
Realistically, if you're an internationally trained medical doctor and you're in any province in the country, your chances of getting in are less than 5%. So that means that 95% never work as medical doctors here. So they either got to find work in an alternative field, or they leave.
My name is Vesna Stajic. Originally I'm coming from Bosnia, from Sarajevo. I'm specialist of anesthesia and reanimation. I've been working as a physician almost 20 years in my country.
What was the main reason you left your home country?
The main reason was war in Sarajevo. We didn't want to be part of all of that, because we have our opinion about fighting and people who fight. And for us, Canada was country of our dreams, because it was always something special for us.
Vesna soon discovered that to be a doctor in Canada would be next to impossible.
Have you challenged any of the exams in order to be a doctor?
No.
Why not?
It takes a lot of time because a lot of people, they pass exam and they still couldn't find a job because it was a problem with residency. And I was just thinking, do I have so much time for that? If you need 5-6 years to finish that and still you are not sure that you're going to get a position and job, that was actually in my mind. That was the reason why I didn't do that. When you are doing that, it's different.
Opting not to write any exams or try for a residency, Vesna luckily found a job teaching health science at the massage school.
Now I'm working, I was lucky one. I have to say that because there are a lot of international doctors, they are doing so many different jobs. They are pistol delivering, doing security jobs. I was lucky because I was accepted to teach students for massage therapy.
Although Vesna has put her dreams on hold for a better life for her children, she still feels the sting of her sacrifice.
Deep inside, I was very sad. I accept that at the beginning, it's okay, it's fine, we are safe now, children, everything is fine, there are some, there are some opportunities. But when you have been working so long time in healthcare, and you are helping people, it's not so easy, I feel like I have a lot of experience, I would like to help, and why I can't do that.
I recently was told a story about a psychiatrist who couldn't get into the Canadian system. He applied in some college in America. The professor phoned him up. They had a half-hour chat on the phone, and he said, "Fine, we'll pick you up and take you right down to the States." Found an apartment for him, set him up. He was successful almost right away.
I tracked down the IMD Dr. Williams was referring to. I flew to the small town of Hibbing, Minnesota to hear about that doctor's new life.
My name is Sujit Varma. I'm a psychiatrist. I did my medical training in a place called Manipal in southern India. Following that, I did a fellowship at the University of British Columbia for 1 year. After that, I was selected for a residency training program at the University of Texas, where I repeated my psychiatry residency in the United States for 4 years. Some good news here.
Dr. Varma spent a total of 5 years retraining himself in Canada and the United States. That's the same amount of time a Canadian doctor would spend in med school. But it still wasn't enough to get Dr. Varma a Canadian residency.
I couldn't get people to tell me exactly what I needed to do to get fully licensed in Canada. Each time I asked someone something, they would ask me to fill up a certain form, write a certain exam. After you did that, there was something more to do. There's a lot of bureaucracy that's preventing highly qualified people from all over the world giving their services to Canadians who need doctors.
Dr. Varma was shocked to learn that with 14 years of medical training in India and North America and passing all the required exams, he was still ineligible to be a doctor in Canada. Fed up, he left for the States.
I understand that you referred to me by one of the psychologists. When I came to the United States, I was allowed to practice medicine straight away, but no license to practice medicine in Canada, though I'm a permanent resident of Canada.
Dr. Varma's decision to work in Hibbing, Minnesota made headlines in the local newspaper.
And it just shows